Hi, this is Kaery with Kaery Concealed in the Active Self-Protection Extra channel. And today I thought that we would have kid number 3, also known as Ethan, would ask me the instructor insider questions.
Palm pepper spray is next generation OC spray. It's hot at 1.4% major capsaicinoids, and its modular design means you can customize it exactly to you. 3 different setups, lots of different color combinations. You can make it exactly as you like. And the flip top safety prevents accidental discharges. It's 10 to 12 foot range and 25 half-second blasts. Make sure that you can keep that long range eye poke at long range. I trust Palm OC and I recommend it for everyone for self-defense.
All right, Ethan, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Okay, so the first question is, tell us a little bit about yourself and how people can find you.
All right, a little bit about me. My name's Kaery Dudenhofer, and my dog's name is Speedy. She's right here with us. She only has 3 legs. She's still so cute.
She was pummeling against the door to get in, so we had to let her in.
Yes, hopefully she'll be quiet. And I live in Eastern Washington State, and I get to spend most of my days hanging with my family. I work also, I do some expert witness work. I do lots of teaching. I get to help out with this, with active self-protection. And when the active self-protection instructor cohort's going, I get to help out with that too. So that's about it for me.
Next question is, how long have you been an instructor?
I have been an instructor in this area for, let's say, 10 years. I believe I got my first instructor certification in, it was either 2013 or 14.
I think it was 14.
14?
Yeah.
Let's say that.
That's when you started teaching,
That sounds right.
I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I do think it was 14. Yeah.
I just remember that's the year you did your first well-armed woman, or I just
That's fine.
rephrase that.
The meeting.
Yeah, you did your first woman's class, and I wanted to go so desperately. And that's all I remember.
And that was a long time ago. You were a little guy then. My goodness. You were, what, 9?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay. What was your first gun, and what is your current favorite gun?
Okay, so my first gun was a 410 Noble shotgun, and that's something my dad bought for me when I was 9 or 10, and he used to shoot trap with family and friends in the rural area that we lived in then and still live in now, and I wanted to be able to do it with him, and so he purchased the shotgun from a tribal officer, Norm Holt. He's since passed away, but it's been a great gun. I love it, still have it, and my current favorite gun is definitely probably going to be Penelope Priscilla Quincy. And that's a Walther PPQ that I'm not like loyal to any brand.
No.
It's just the gun. And I've had that gun for probably 12, 13 years. And I have 2 of the exact same guns set up the exact same way. And one of them's had about 130,000 rounds through it. And the other's had, I don't actually even know, I want to say it's 40 to 60,000 somewhere in there. I've got it written down somewhere. And they've been flawless. They've performed beautifully. They're super easy for me to shoot and to conceal. And yeah, so I'd say probably, your first love will probably always be your first love.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, currently, what are you enjoying most about teaching, or which classes or topics?
So what am I enjoying most about teaching? I would say right now, as I'm preparing for an upcoming trial here soon, I am enjoying, and I usually always do enjoy, the process of trying to figure out exactly the most precise, efficient way and the simplest way of communicating a principle. And right now, one of the biggest principles I'm working on how to communicate is disparity of force and the different elements of disparity of force.
Yeah.
And so I'm enjoying that. It's different. I'm not on the range doing it, and it's just like a classroom type setting, a courtroom type setting. So I would say that's it. Yeah, just trying to boil everything down to the most simple thing for disparity of force.
And why are you trying to boil it down? Why not leave it in the form that you found it, or the form that you wrote it?
That's a good question. I would say I don't want to leave there because I think it's confusing. So this last year I did a ton of studying. Anything I could find that anybody wrote on disparity of force, I have read it and consumed it and digested it.
Yep.
And it's a really confusing topic if it's not explained in a simple way.
Yeah.
And as long as it's explained simply and in a straightforward way and consistently, I think it'll be more understandable. So I guess the way it is now, or the way I've found it, to me, it doesn't make as much sense as it could.
Yeah.
And so I just like making it make as much sense as possible.
Right. So you have all this information from all the different things that you've studied. You're having to condense it so that people in the courtroom, for instance, can understand it in the short description that you or your lawyer describes.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, and make it, that's exactly it. Take all that information from all those different sources and take the best parts of each one
Yep.
and give those people credit, but then also, sorry, I gotta lift the dog.
Yeah,
she's being a pain.
she's going to be a pain if we don't.
And try to make it so that it is as simple as possible.
Yeah. Okay. What's one helpful hint you can share with instructors who are just starting out?
So I like that question. Oh, I shouldn't say that because I wrote it, but that's a good question.
You keep forgetting that you wrote these.
I did. Okay, so what was the question again? Helpful hint.
Yes. What's one helpful hint you can share with instructors just starting out?
That's right. Thanks for your patience. So one helpful hint. For me, I would encourage instructors just starting out to train with as many different instructors as possible, reputable instructors. I find that people will often become a student of or a consumer of like one particular range or one particular like methodology or one particular instructor.
Or one particular drill type or something like that. Yeah.
And rather than seeing what other people have to say about it. And that has really benefited me. I'm sure somebody gave me that idea a long time ago. I wouldn't come up with that on my own, but that is what I've tried to do. And it's been so helpful to learn. I started out at this place in Southern Oregon, and that instructor talked about a couple of other instructors who I then pursued to, okay, so why do they say to do it this way or say to do it that way? Or why do they prioritize this skill over that skill? So I would say that. Try to train with as many different instructors as you can.
I guess this is probably a deep question, but I guess I'll ask it anyway. If you train with a lot of different instructors and different teaching styles, you're obviously going to be receiving different information and different types of teaching and different types of instruction. Your repertoire of knowledge is going to be much more diverse. Do you believe more in being perfect at nothing and good at everything?
That's a good question, Ethan. That's a good question. Oh, that's tough. So I feel like I started out being kind of a generalist and wanting to understand as much about the topic of running a handgun and running it well. And that led me to understanding different people's ways of explaining different things. And that helped me see, so there's a lot of different ways to accomplish the same thing.
Right.
So I don't know if I'm answering your question, but for me, having that wide range of information from a bunch of different sources and being able to ask them questions about it has helped me, I feel, become a better teacher because I feel like I'm able to meet different people's needs when they have, different areas of that they, if somebody has a unique situation,
right,
or something, physical or vision-wise or whatever, having a bunch of different options and resources I can draw from. I feel, I could be wrong, but I feel it makes me a better instructor and better to meet more people's needs and to handle the challenges that might come up to my class anytime, because you never know when it's going to happen.
Right. So prioritizing your knowledge so that you can effectively communicate, so you can. Oh, I just lost my train of thought because I got a text.
To communicate a lot of different things.
Yes.
In a lot of different ways to a lot of different people.
Yeah.
That's what I want to be able to do. I want to be able to help as many people as possible, and in the best, most efficient way possible. And having that big knowledge base helps me do that.
Okay. Makes sense. Let's see. Question number 6. What is the best piece of firearm or protection-related advice you've received?
Okay. I'm going to say 2, and I'll make them quick.
Okay.
I don't know who I heard this from, and I wish I did, but I remember somebody telling me, don't worry about finding the perfect gun for you when you're first starting out. Pick something and get it and run it, and run it a lot.
Yep.
And that happened to be Penelope. That was the first one the first full-size semi-automatic handgun. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I had a smaller carry one, but not that I would shoot for all the time in all the classes I take.
That wasn't the revolver, right?
No, it wasn't. This was after the revolver.
That thing hurt when it hit the top of your head, let me tell you.
Only when it was in the holster and you ran up to give me a hug.
Yes, it hurt.
Yes, and you yelled in the grocery store, "Ow, Mom, your gun.
And that's why we started naming her guns. That was
Because of you.
Yes, that was
that
the
was
beginning
Molly
of it.
Pickle that you ran into.
Yep.
Who became Molly Pickle.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So the first one is get a gun, run it a lot. The second thing I would say, and I'm sure a lot of people say this, but I've just become very aware of all of the myths that are out there about OC spray and how that prevents so many people from carrying it.
Yeah.
And that's just awful because so many situations and so many different expert witness cases I've heard of, not necessarily my own, but others I've heard of, things would have been very different, most likely, had they had that option. I just think it's important. I beg my students now, before you put your gun on, get your OC in your pocket. Make sure you got it ready to go. If you're going to carry a gun, you've got to carry OC as well.
Why do you think most people, well, let's see, what's one of the biggest myths that people reference when they describe to you why they don't carry OC?
Most of the time, I would say lately, especially, it comes in waves, but right now, there's so much confusion over what to get. Do I get a cone? Do I get a spray? Do I get a foam? Do I get a gel? That seems to be, it's almost like going to a store where there's so many options, you don't know what to pick from, and everyone has something different to say about it. And because they don't understand, because nobody's taken the time to tell them, or they haven't found out the principles of what you want OC to accomplish and how it can best accomplish that, they don't know what to pick. And you kind of feel like you're a rudderless ship. You don't know where to go or what to do. So I would say that's the biggest myth, is just, how do I figure out which one I'm supposed to get? And or people will be in this camp like, oh, I've got to have gel. And I can't find gel to buy, and that kind of stuff.
Okay. If you could train with anyone, living or dead, who would it be?
Okay. So this would be, and for the only reason that I've heard Mr. John talk about Mike Steeklander's instructor development course, and it's taught not that far from here, just 4 hours from here. And I have been trying to get in that course for several years now, but I'm having a hard time. I think I must be missing it or something. I've seen it offered for an LE, law enforcement version only, and I'm not that. And
You've done plenty of those classes, though.
Well, and I would prefer to do one, the one he teaches for civilians, but I would really like to be able to take that class. And I know there's a lot that I can learn from him. He designed the Federal Air Marshal program after 9/11, and so I just think there's a lot that I can learn from him. So I would say him right now. They're asking, after I take that class, there'll be another one after that.
There'll be another one. There's always another one.
Yes.
There's always something better, always something higher. Okay. If you could sorry, let me do this, start again. If you could assistant instruct for anyone living or dead, who would it be?
That one would be Mr. AJ Zito. And the main reason is because, well, there's lots of reasons, but he's a phenomenal instructor. Super, super smart, super busy, and he's just such a great human. I am right now fascinated with trying to find out the most efficient way to help people transition to a dot, or a pistol-mounted optic. And watching him work with students is mind-blowing, and how quickly he's able to help them get there, and just so efficiently as well. So I want to learn his magic.
I would learn that magic too, because the amount of myths about dots, it goes.
Makes you want to cry.
It does. It goes even further than, oh, I don't want no battery in my target. What if it dies? You'll be fine, Poppy. Okay. What's your favorite drill to teach or to shoot?
Okay, so I have a different answer for this every day. It seems like I'm preparing to teach a sniper pistol instructor course in Arkansas later this year, and so I keep thinking about that a lot and adding drills to that. So I think probably my favorite to teach is one that the students kind of figure out on their own. So I just present them with the target, but it's so fun after the sniper pistol course. At the very end of it, they have a chance to shoot either steel or paper, whatever we have. If we have steel, we shoot steel at 50 yards. And for a lot of these students, it's just so awesome to see how they blow their own minds. That they're able to, and well, the last class we did this with, Natalie and I, every single person in the class hit it the first try. So it's just super impressive what they're able to do. So that's probably my favorite, is just presenting them with a drill and then letting them show themselves what they're able to do and how well they're able to do it.
you and Nat working as a team, I'm not sure there's anything you guys couldn't do.
She's amazing. She is amazing. She
Yeah.
makes it all the more fun, too.
Yeah, I bet. And that's it for the questions.
All right. Well, Ethan, thank you very much for your time. Thanks for
Absolutely.
asking. It's much more fun to do this with you than by myself, that's for sure.
Yep.
And thank you guys for being here, and we look forward to seeing you next week.